You're now listening to the show about the shit in life that's just a bit too much, from the perspective of stand-up comics. With our hosts, Carmelo Bongiovi and Ken Krantz. This week's topic, The Goodest Boy, Part 1, with our guest, Craig Mahoney. This is A Bit Too Much.
We all look like we ordered the same haircut.
Yeah, well, you know, we're classy. We're classy
Isn't
fellas
it,
here.
in all seriousness, isn't still having your hair fucking great? Like, could you imagine anything worse than going bald?
No, well, I mean, I can imagine worse things, but not to my hair. No, I wish I wasn't going this gray this fast. But
No, it's women like it. The salt and pepper thing.
yeah,
Hold on.
drop a
They
bunch
like
of
it
weight.
on certain people. They don't like it on everyone. Certain guys pull it off.
Well, you've had it for a while, but you went quick,
Yeah.
right? So but yours is good because it's like uniform. You know, where I got, mine's a little depends on how long the hair is and the way the lights hit
Yeah.
it. But I put on like a bit of weight and I had to drop it because the beard was getting too white. And I was like, and I needed to get my jawline back. So in order to shave the beard and look younger, I had to drop like 20 pounds.
That's my situation. That might be, but now my hair it's not. It's getting white in certain, not gray. It's getting like white. And I took down my beard recently. It looks okay, I think. But like when it was long, I was like, oh, it's like a fucking Santa beard coming out. Like, when did this shit happen? When did my hair, because I've been going gray slowly for a long time, like 20 years. Been going gray very slowly. But now it's white. That's fucking depressing. I didn't care when it was gray. I was like, all right, this is normal. Everyone in my family goes gray. But now that it's getting white, I'm like, oh, that's like elderly.
Yeah, mine is I've still got a mix, but there's white in there. The problem is like on my like goatee-ish part, I still got a lot of brown hair and dark hair, and there's gray it mixed in, but the sides are like white, just white. So I can't even really. I don't even know if I can get away with a 5 o'clock shadow anymore. I just I start looking like a vagrant.
So Ken was telling me about your book a little bit.
Yes.
The Mickiest Mickey.
The Mickiest Mickey. People ask me, what does that mean? And here I'm going to tell the public here first. I have no goddamn idea. It was just something I used to, you call your dog, you're fostering a bunch of dogs, like a series of dogs right now, right, Ken?
So I'm right now, I got 2 husky puppies that we're fostering, 7 weeks old, that just started howling. I just heard them howl for the first time today.
They found their bark.
Yeah. And
Or as my daughter would call it, when they find their woof. my dog she found her woof.
She would love these puppies.
Oh yeah.
And we also have a 16-year-old cattle hound. So right now it's 3 dogs, 2 of them puppies, but also the puppies are causing the old dog some stress. And
yeah, they'll do that.
She's been shitting all over the house. So now it's like having 2. It's like a good it's like a good analogy for Gen X. It's like we're taking care of babies and an old lady, and everyone, and all of them need diapers.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it's each stage of life you go out needing care. The beginning and end. It doesn't begin or end with rarely does it begin and end with dignity. But the Mickiest Mickey was just one of the things. Like you have dogs, you have pets around the house, and you just start calling them goofy shit. You know. Yeah. And I used to say, I would call, the Mick, the Mickster, and then there'd be the Mickiest Mick or the Mickiest Mickey or, Miculus J Dog, all sorts of shit. But he also was a mutt, and I never knew what he was. When I first adopted him with my ex, they said his mother was a beagle and they didn't know what the father was, but he looked like he was more terrier than anything, but like a very unique kind of terrier. So when people would ask me what kind of dog he was, I would just say he's a Mickey. I don't know. I have no idea. So that was when I decided on the plot for the book, which took years to figure out, which was that he would just go to enter a dog show and would get rejected because he's a mutt. It was like, oh, he's a Mickey. That's his breed. And so that's when I decided to just call the book that instead of, dog show rejection or something.
Dog show rejection's a lot for kids to get their thoughts around.
Mickey's sad day.
Which is a funny analogy for, so this is a children's book, obviously, right? So this is,
yes.
Yeah, that's a funny idea of like the rejection you'd have to deal with, because those dog shows are fucking intense, by the way. Like dog shows and dog and any kind of like training like that. I mean, there's a whole snobby world out there of like dog trainers, which I didn't realize until my father-in-law got a poodle, like a purebred poodle, and like all of a sudden, it's like there's certain groomers. They're thinking about putting her in like competitions and shit. And I'm like, well, first of all, why? Why are you doing that? But also, like, who are these for? The owner, like, what benefit does the dog show get you?
Yeah, I don't know. Does the dog really? Does an award-winning dog really know that they're an award-winning dog, or have a much better, happier life or sense of satisfaction than just your regular spoiled at-home dog who gets played with and like petted and cuddled every day?
I bet you that dog is happier. The one that's home getting spoiled is happy. That's
regular walks.
It's a lot of pressure to put on a dog. Like, go out and be the best dog ever. And you got to kick the shit out of all these other fucking dogs. And if you don't, we're going to be so mad.
Yeah.
It's a lot more liberating too. There's less, it's less discipline. You just kind of do whatever the fuck you want. It's just like the best thing about being a dog is you just, there's a few basic rules and tricks. Like Mickey, he was housebroken eventually, and he would, and he knew some tricks, but other than that, he just did whatever the fuck he wanted, which I assume would be the best part of being a dog,
right?
Yeah.
I took my dog. We have a pretty new dog. She's a year and a half, and my wife's like, "Oh, you got to take her to like let's bring her to a trainer, like one of the places where you go in, and like you go there with your dog." And I'm like, I guess these are the things where I just don't. I don't want to do it, but I just say yes. I'm like, okay, sure. And I'm the one who's taking her. My wife's like, this is, it's almost like she just wanted me out of the house. She's like, here, go take the dog to get trained for the night. And I'm taking this dog to get trained. And the whole time I'm there, I'm like, why are we doing this? I could just teach her I'll teach her how to sit eventually. Like they pick it up.
Oh,
this is necessary.
My ex-wife was the one who took him. Well, we took him together to the training classes, but I was bartending. So at night, I'd be behind the bar, and she worked a day job, and so she would be home alone with the dog, and would be going over all the tricks with him and stuff. So she's kind of the one who really taught him how to. Not that he'd do much. He would sit, lay down, roll over, and then give you a fist bump when you toss a treat in the air, and he'd catch it.
Yeah, that's fucking great, by the way.
That's all you need.
That's a lot. What more do you need?
Well, so we taught him, we had gotten him to do the sit and the lay down and give paw. And then my ex and I, we only had him a year when we split up. And then it was when I was alone with him that I realized, the give paw could be easily converted to do a fist bump. And I don't remember when it was. I just threw something up in the air to see if he could catch it. And he did. And from that day forward, people would go to give him treats. Can I give him treats? I'm like, yeah, but he's not used to actually taking food from anyone's hand, because like literally just everything got tossed in the air. And he
doesn't get thrown up.
And I was like, I never fed him out of my hand ever again. He caught everything, almost, with maybe one or two exceptions, every damn time. And this is the sad part of this. We'll get it. There could be a little sad moments. I knew he was on his way out for the last couple of weeks of his life, but the last week, it was he went on a Friday, and it was that Monday, and it ended up being the last day he ate anything. I was feeding him. I had some London broil, and he always loved eating that stuff. And I tossed one in the air because he wasn't eating the goddamn super expensive medicated food I bought for him.
Right.
Shoved that down his goddamn throat. But he would still eat, some people food. And I threw like a slice of it in the air, and it just landed flat on his head. And he just looked at me with these sad eyes. And
I can't.
Oh.
The dog's
oh no.
the dog's like, I just can't do it. I've been alive for so long.
Oh man. I had video. I still have video of it too.
Yeah.
He caught everything. Oh, that was worth it, especially being a newly single guy. You got a dog who looked like my dog, looked like a goddamn Disney character with the big ears and the cute face and this like personality. He loved people. He loved to be going around, be a part of the action. I could take him to bars, outdoor restaurants, whatever, and parties and barbecues and shit. But you take him, to a dog friendly bar. And you do the sit, lay down, roll over, fist bump, catch a treat shit.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I didn't even need to have a personality at that point. I didn't have to do anything.
Yeah, right. That becomes your thing now.
Mm-hmm. There was this bar down this. It's in the book, but it becomes a rock and roll coffee shop in the book because it's a children's book, so we can't have
Daddy was pounding back some beers.
So Duff's in Brooklyn. It was where he went a lot for his last year of his life. And if I got home at like 11 and went to take him out for a walk, if it was like 11 midnight-ish, 1 a.m., he just walked right up Broadway in Williamsburg and just made a right. And he just went, we're going to Duff's because they all know me there and I'm the friggin' mayor. And
that's great. He's like Norm.
Yeah.
Come on, now let's grab a drink. Yeah.
I've been there once, about 2 or 3 times since he died. And I'll sit there and I'm like, I don't know what to do with myself. I'm like, I don't have, I got to make conversation with strangers here. I don't.
This is my dog spot.
Everyone would come to me because I had the dog.
Yeah, you're like, this is weird. This is my dog's bar. This is where my dog goes for drinks.
He's got, so they have like when metal bands are on tour, they come and they stop at Duff's and they autograph like guitars and drum heads and whatever. And give it to the owner to hang. And when Mickey was there one night when this one band popped through, I'm not a huge metalhead. I'm not really a metalhead at all. This band, Suicide Silence, which some of your listeners may know, I do not. But I know the guys now. I know the guys in the band. The bassist fell in love with Mickey and the other guys in the band. So when they had to sign the drum head, they wanted Mickey to sign it too. So the best they could do was to outline his paw and do a paw print for it.
That's awesome.
And write Mickey the sickest dog. And so now that is hanging in Duff's. If you go there,
that's
Mickey
great.
is forever a part of that bar.
It's because, you know what? You put a dog in any human situation, the dog's the most beloved thing there.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like the dog will always be the best thing in the room.
These puppies are a lot of work, though.
Puppies,
like everyone keeps saying, like, how are you going to give them back? And I'm like this, like here, you can have them back today. I didn't know we had to keep them this long.
Yeah, puppies are a lot of work, and like, I don't know. My dog is 1, and I have a kid. My kid's 5, so she was 4. I'm like, that my deal with my kid was like, you've got to stop shitting yourself before I'm picking up more shit. Like that was my deal with her. It was like, once you're potty trained. When she was like 2, she wanted a dog. I was like, nope. Not while I'm not wiping your shit, and because it's hard. Dogs will just shit in your house when you first get them. They
look you right in the eye, like they don't even break eye contact.
And then they'll skid their ass across your across your carpet. They'll clean their ass on your carpet.
It is the listening to like when they're running around the house at night when you let them out for that last burst.
Yeah.
Hearing that pitter patter of all the little feet on the floor, like there's no better sound. I'm pretty sure
that is so fucking true, man.
We're gonna end up, I'm guessing, keeping the sister and sending the brother. But I feel like they'll get adopted. And 2 puppies get adopted in 2
Well, Mickey
minutes.
was fostered for his first few weeks. We got him. He was like 6, 7 weeks old, something like that. And It was funny because he was really little, he was very young puppy, and I'm glad that me and my ex were still together for that first year we had him. I don't know that I could do a puppy from that young on my own anymore. Like you said, they are tough, but it was so funny when he was still that little for the first month or so, or a few weeks that we had him, when he would run. Talk about the pitter patter. He looked like a tractor trailer skidding along an icy road because his back legs would be a little faster than his front legs. So it was great.
That's true, but that pitter patter sound when my dog, you take it for granted. Like when my dog, who was my old dog, he died at 15. Coming into the house for the next 2 months, my ears went to where's the paw sound, right? Like you go and then or the things you do with your dog, you know what I mean? Like you really do miss those little, but that paw sound when you hear the little going around your house is the best thing ever. Mm-hmm. When your kids run through your house, you're like chaos.
It's been 3 years now since Mickey's gone. That's how long it took me to finish this book and to figure out what I was going to do with it.
Yeah.
And I'll still be I'll go to finish. I'll say if I accidentally drop a piece of food on the floor while I'm eating, there's still that reaction,
you still have the habit.
I have to clean this now.
Yeah.
There's no one there to eat it off the floor.
So your dog passes, and then time goes by, and you're like, I want to write some sort of that pretty soon after you knew you wanted to write a story, or was it
No, I can't remember when I came up with the idea for the plot, if he was still alive or not. It was towards the end, I think, when I finally came up with the idea. I think it was he went in July. I think it was May that I came up with the plot, but I was trying to come from since 2017, 2018, because people would be everyone, this is when Mickey and I were living in Jersey City, and I was running art shows and comedy shows there, and I'd walk them through the park, and all these, everybody in that neighborhood knew Mickey. And, people would be like, you should do a children's book starring your dog. And I'd be like, yeah, that'd be great. Except two things. One, he was so unique looking in so many different colors. He had this weird brindle hair. And even when it grew out, you could take individual hair follicles and see the color change within the hair
strand,
as it grew. So I was like, how do I come up with a uniform design for this dog that'll be consistent from page to page and turn him into a cartoon character, essentially? Because depending on the lighting, even he could look the colors in his coat could look different. And then the other thing was I had no plot. I couldn't think of a goddamn plot. And it was it was years. I for a while I was thinking of just doing a series of books for very young children, and it was just going to be each one book would be Mickey would go on an adventure, and with the adventures is why I would say, Mickey, you want to go on an adventure, and that would be going for a walk. He'd go for a walk, and each walk would be Mickey sees different colors and things, and Mickey sees different shape things and numbers and letters or whatever. So I thought of doing a series like that. But then I think I was watching, it was a Mickey Mouse cartoon where he tries entering Pluto. It's called Society Dog Show. He goes to enter Pluto into the dog show. And it's not a ripoff of that cartoon. It's the only similarity.
Right.
They both stories take off wildly different. But I was like, oh, shit, that's it. Enter the dog show, because I love the animals. I love dogs. And every year, the dog show would come around Thanksgiving and stuff, and people would get excited for it and be like, oh, you're going to watch a dog show? And I would literally get annoyed. I'd be like, no, because those motherfuckers would not let Mickey into the show if I entered him, and he deserves to be in there. So,
you really did try to enter him? Wait, did you really try? You did try to enter him into one?
No, because he's a mutt. Right, I knew he couldn't get into one.
That's fucked up. That's
they're racist.
They're like country clubs that don't let Jews in. That is.
No, it's just they just don't want mixed race. They don't want mutts.
Yeah, no,
they don't want.
No,
it's okay. Yeah. They don't. They'll let any individual breed come, but it's the mixed they don't like. They don't like the muddying the bloodlines. They're weird about dogs, man. It is weird. Those standards of dog shows are very strange. It's why couldn't any good dog be in there?
Yeah, they can.
It's like a pure.
So that was the impetus for the book. It was my own, and people would be like, "Oh, that's such a great! It's a timely lesson." And the thing is, people can interpret it in a bunch of different ways. If they want, they can make it about bigotry, elitism, credentialism, whatever,
nationalism.
just being an outcast or whatever. And a lot of people think like, "Oh, I'm trying to make some sort of statement or lesson." I'm like, no, this is just me defending my dog. I was just pissed off that I would never let Mickey in. It's an entirely personal vendetta. In fact, so I thought you said country club. I was, it's the the American Kennel Club, and I was eventually I just went. It just says dog show, big dog show. I didn't go with a name for it, and I was thinking, should I do something? And I was like thinking of the Countrywide Kennel Club, but spelling it all with K's.
Yeah.
And I was like, is that a little too? It might be
might be a little bit on the nose for children.
Although I wouldn't be surprised if dog shows and the formulation of those are pretty German, because there's a lot of breeds. There's a lot of German breeds and purebreds and stuff like that. Like there's I wouldn't be surprised if this dates back to a certain era.
I pick up what you're laying down.
You know what I mean, right?
I do know what you mean.
Ken Krantz, do you know?
I know. Yes, I know very well what you mean.
Okay.
Did you ever consider? My first thought would have been like have them go on tour with Suicide Silence, like tour bus, drug. I mean, maybe not for kids, but that'd be a fun book that I would read.
Yeah. Well, I was, it's funny. I was thinking of doing so on my Substack, there's going to be in fact, by the time this episode's up, it will be there. I'm doing a read along video and then doing like a bonus feature post where I kind of go into, some of the things we've talked about and a lot of the behind the scenes and the sort of process of making the book. And I thought of doing some like adult deleted scenes. Because, a couple people messaged me when I was telling about the book, and my one friend was like, yeah, can I get this for my nephews? Or is like Mickey going to be sipping Guinness in the book? And I was, because I would take him to the bar and I'd get a Guinness and he would had the first lap off the foam. That's it. I wouldn't let him drink other than that but he liked getting that first lap off the foam.
It's like a pup cup for
to be fair, I'm assuming he was named after Mickey Mantle.
Yes.
All right. So that's appropriate.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
He should be boozing it up.
Yeah. So, and at the end of the book, he's wearing at one point, there's a page in the book where you see him wearing a number 7 pinstripe jersey as he becomes the mascot for this youth baseball team. But I thought of doing like, I should do a few panels of like, just do like 3 extra illustrations and pages and be like, here's Mickey at the bar taking the first lap of Guinness. And then some girl that I used to date, I messaged her about the thing. She goes, is there something about when he used to eat the crotch out of my panties? But I was like, that's
dogs do love doing that.
Scene. That's for the director's
you told her
cut
that was the
edition.
dog, huh?
What's that?
You told her that was the dog, huh?
Yeah. No, if I had a girl over, he would do that to hers, but he would do it to my pants too. Like I couldn't eventually just learn I can't leave my underwear or like jeans. Like I'd wake up the next day and there'd be a hole that like you could put your head through.
But only when you brought a girl over?
Pretty much, yeah.
That's weird.
Yeah.
Yeah. They were like, I'm going to do this to her and then I'm going to do it to you. Or maybe it was, maybe that was from the dry humping.
He liked the taste of pheromones or whatever was going on.
Yeah. Whatever that was like sitting on your lap.
Well, it sounds like he had excellent taste. Guinness, panties.
Yeah.
He was a puss hound,
Puss hound.
Yeah. Dogs do like eating that shit. But the dog, both of the dogs I've had will like eat underwear or like like my wife's underwear or like, dude, there's a dogs will eat a fucking tampon. They will find a tampon and they will dig through garbages and find and eat a tampon.
I live with all women and I can confirm.
Yes. That is a thing.
Yeah,
it's the only time my stepkids ever see me lose my shit. I'm like, close the bathroom door. I'm tired of coming up.
Oh, yeah. We had to put a lid over the bathroom trash can.
Yeah.
What is that? What dogs just love the fucking... They go crazy for that shit.
Yeah, it's literally, it's fucking weird. He actually, when he was a puppy, it's the only time he ever really chewed stuff up. And I had, like, next to my computer desk, I had, a bookcase and DVD case. And a lot of times stuff would just kind of be stacked on the floor as I was going through it and reading it, whatever. And the only two things he really chewed up is he did chew. It's for a dog named after Mickey Mantle. This was bad, but he chewed up a little bit of he chewed up the brim of the fitted Yankee hat I had, and then he chewed the corner of my Lord of the Rings Two Towers Extended Edition DVD, and then took a big chunk out of Infinite Jest, which I had just bought and had started reading, and that is the reason why I've never read Infinite Jest. So.
Well, hopefully you sell enough books. I gave up after that. Hopefully you sell enough books to buy a new copy of Infinite Jest.
And I will say, for those of you wondering who maybe have, tried reading Infinite Jest and found it daunting, the Mickiest Mickey is a much easier, much shorter, much quicker read.
Do you do the illustrations in the...
I did everything.
You did everything.
That's one of the reasons why it took so long.
He's a very, very talented artist. I'm jealous of people with that kind of artistic ability.
Sorry, that's autistic. Sorry.
Yeah, I wrote it, I illustrated it, and then I edited it, I scanned it, I laid it out, and it was amazing. Cool, as you go through it, you find that you think, a children's book. It's a bunch of 24, 30 pages, something like that. It's a very simple story, simple sentences, small words. I'm not doing realistic, complex, illustrations or anything. Yeah. It's all very soft and cartoony. And then you start doing it, and every step of the way, you're like, oh, I didn't think of that. Oh, this is harder than I thought. Oh, here's more involved than because you do the illustrations, and then you go to lay it out on the page with the text, and you're like, oh, that doesn't work. How do I figure this out and make it look good? So I ended up, so if you see the book now, some pages have like sort of these watercolor, like color blob shapes behind some of the text and stuff. And that was me realizing that I was leaving a lot of empty space on the page and having to make up for it somehow.
Yeah, once you're in it, right? Because any book, regardless of how simple or complex it is, like you're from story and total package, you're like, wait a minute, this has to make sense now. This doesn't make sense. Yeah. I thought this was simple. My wife wrote a children's book as well, and she was like slamming her head in the page about a few parts of it. And she was like, she had the thing like the outline and most of it right away. And then she like really was like torturing herself over like 3 little sections of the book. Cause she just was like, this doesn't make sense anymore. Or this isn't, hers rhymed. So it's like, now these rhymes don't add up. And it's like, wow, this got way more complex than I thought it would.
Yeah. Well, I have another that I'm going to be releasing near Halloween, which is, a separate thing, and the illustrations are going to be somewhat different style. It's about a monster who little like almost like a 3 bear situation where there's a mama monster, papa monster, baby monster, and the baby monster runs away from the cave to go trick or treating with the kids, and they all think that he's wearing a costume, sort of deal. But I wrote it in like that sort of that Dr. Seuss, rhyming meter. And when you know what the narrative is, and then you got to try to find rhymes that work to get to, from A to B where you need to be. And like, that's one of the reasons I started doing this again, like 5 years ago. And it was only like in December that I finally fixed like the last 2 lines. And I'm like, all right, this is ready to go. And that was the thing with Mickey too. Like I'm like, all right, he joins the dog show and then they reject him. And I'm like, all right, but then what? How does he find redemption? We got to give him a happy ending. And so I was like, well, he goes to the park. And, every time I would walk Mickey through the park, everyone loved him. The kids loved him. They'd come up. So they just say, oh, he's the best dog in the world. And I'm like, it's kind of a lame ending. You need something better than that. So then I came up with the idea of like, the kids on the baseball team love him and then they make him the mascot. And because I thought of like, doing some more real world references. I'm like, I got to acknowledge Mickey Mantle in the book that he's named after him. So I'm like, how do I get him into a Mickey Mantle jersey? And that's when I thought of, the kids on the team making him the mascot and giving him the jersey. And then he gets a big trophy of his own at the end. So I was like, that's a much better ending other than just like, he just went and said, screw them,
And you do need that because, kids are used to their story. Well, I mean, every story, adult or kid, you need the proper arc, of course. But like kids are used to getting that happy ending in their stories, and if it doesn't show up in a meaningful way, they will question it. Like my daughter has done that with like shows that she watched that are maybe a little above her age, and like it's not totally rounded out, or like it's a little, maybe not sad, but a little bit more serious in tone. And she's like, what happened there? She's like, why is everything not perfect at the end of this? It's a very hard thing for her to, because everything she watches and reads ends in such a high note. Like, not just a happy ending, the happiest of endings, right? Yeah. Like children's stories, Disney movies, Disney movies get pretty dark sometimes. Like, parents die in Disney movies.
Like so many of the movies.
In so many of the movies, that's the plot.
The early ones, especially, like those first 4 or 5 that Walt produced there, during his life, the old Snow White, Pinocchio, Dumbo, Bambi, Fantasia. They get really dark.
Yeah. I mean, in some of them, the parents are already dead. Bambi was the worst one because you actually watch your parents get killed.
No, you don't. It happens off screen.
Well, it happens off screen, right? But it happens. It happens in the plot,
and it's just him wandering in the snow in the woods, just calling out for his mother, and it's echo, and because you hear the shot. But you don't see anything. And people to this day swear like, oh, I saw Bambi's mother get shot. And he's like, no, she doesn't.
No, not saw, but it happens in the scene. Whereas some of them, like the mom's already, when the story starts.
How kind of powerful it was that people swear they actually saw the shot. And
I remember my dad telling me the story of being taken to see it in the theater as a little boy. And he ran up, like he jumped out of his seat and ran up to the screen crying.
Wow.
Oh God. Well, yeah, that's the was it the Mandela effect, right? The thinking where everyone collectively thinks they saw something in a commercial or a movie. Like, there's that scene where you watch her get shot and you're like, no, that never happened.
Yeah. Well, just like everyone says mirror, mirror, and she actually never says that. She says magic mirror in the movie. But
yeah.
But Pinocchio's really dark too, and Pinocchio's crazy because it's a happy ending for Pinocchio, and Geppetto becomes a real boy, and Geppetto gets his son and all that. But there's some, especially on Pleasure Island, when the kids are turning into donkeys and stuff. Some really, really dark shit.
Pinocchio's really dark.
None of the bad guys are caught or suffer any sort of punishment whatsoever. At the end of the movie, they're all still out there.
I didn't realize how dark Pinocchio was watching Pinocchio as a kid, but I realized how dark Pinocchio was when I watched Tom Hanks as Geppetto in the fucking live action one. There's a live action one, and Tom Hanks is being the dramatic actor he is, and actually being a depressed dad who lost his son. You're like, holy fuck, this is beyond sad. I was like, I don't want to watch this anymore. I didn't think that's what I was in for.
Well, yeah, who just made it for Netflix a couple years ago?
Guillermo del Toro.
That movie was awesome.
Oh, I didn't see that.
I watched that with my daughter. Like, hey, let's watch Pinocchio. And we were like, oh, fuck, this is a lot. But she liked it. She was into it.
Well, the original book is dark. The Collodi books, it was a series of articles or whatever that became the book. And Disney actually really, chopped it down a lot, to make it and made it palatable, made Pinocchio a lot more appealing. And Del Toro kind of makes Pinocchio annoying, which he was in the original book. I tried rewatching that recently, and it's a great, wonderfully animated, just the visual feast. The only 2 missteps, I think, with the Del Toro movie is that the main character Pinocchio on a rewatch is a little annoying, and I thought, I think he could have done without the songs. I don't think they work as well. But it's interesting that he said we're going to do this and we're going to make it like more like the Collodi novel, except we're still going to keep the cricket as a conscience like Disney did, and we're going to put it in 1930s, 40s fascist Italy.
Yeah, that was the part that I was like, oh, I wasn't expecting. I wasn't expecting Nazis in Pinocchio.
Well, it needs a little more. Otherwise, the story's a little dry without the Nazis,
Well, it's Mussolini, so it's the whatever they did. They have
they weren't
Italian
Nazis.
Fascists other than just Italian fascists?
I think they were a fascist.
They weren't. They weren't as good with the branding. That's the one thing Hitler was.
Yeah.
He shouldn't have tried to be an artist. He should have got into advertising.
It's in marketing, right?
Yeah, I think he would have been far more successful. And a lot of people would have survived.
A lot of people would argue he was pretty successful. Oh,
yeah.
I'm allowed to say that.
Yeah.
Tune in next week for The Goodest Boy, Part 2, with our guest, Craig Mahoney.